From recycled monster costumes to a 20-year-old actor playing a teenager raised by Sasquatch, this bizarre Saturday morning show hid wild secrets behind its slow-motion action sequences and $6 Million Man sound effects that even die-hard fans never suspected. Fact 1. Borrowed its superpowers from the $6 Million Man. If Bigfoot and Wildboy's action sequences felt strangely familiar to viewers in 1977, there was a good reason for that. The Croft brothers shamelessly borrowed the signature slow-motion effects and distinctive bionic sound effects directly from the $6 Million Man, which had featured its own Bigfoot character in several popular episodes. Whenever Bigfoot threw a boulder or Wildboy performed an impressive feat of strength, the producers used the exact same techniques that made Steve Austin's bionic abilities so memorable on television. The iconic slow-motion running sequences, the dramatic throws, and even the whooshing sound effects were lifted straight from the bionic playbook. This wasn't just subtle inspiration, it was a direct copy of one of television's most recognizable visual styles. The connection made sense since the $6 Million Man had already established Bigfoot as a character with superhuman abilities in the popular imagination. But the Crofts took the imitation to an almost comical extreme. Every time the heroes needed to demonstrate their incredible strength or speed, viewers were treated to the same bionic treatment that had made Lee Majors a household name. The shameless borrowing actually worked in the show's favor, giving a low-budget Saturday morning series the feel of a primetime action show, even if it was essentially recycling another program's entire visual identity. Fact 2. A Sleestack moonlighted as an alien. Budget constraints led to some truly creative costuming decisions on Bigfoot and Wildboy, but none more bizarre than what appeared in the episode titled Secret Monolith. When the production needed an alien creature for this particular story, they didn't build a new costume from scratch. Instead, the crew pulled out a Sleestack costume from their other hit show, Land of the Lost, and made some quick modifications. They took half of a gorilla mask and attached it over the Sleestack's distinctive reptilian mouth, creating what they hoped would pass as an entirely different extraterrestrial being. The result was a strange hybrid that sharp-eyed viewers might have recognized, especially those who were fans of both Croft productions. The Sleestacks were already iconic creatures with their green, scaly skin, large eyes, and slow, deliberate movements, so disguising one as an alien required a certain amount of boldness from the production team. This kind of costume recycling was common practice for the Crofts, who were known for maximizing their resources across multiple shows, but this particular example stands out as one of the most obvious instances of cutting corners. The creature appeared on screen looking noticeably different from its usual Land of the Lost appearance, but the basic body structure and movements would have been familiar to anyone who watched Saturday morning television religiously during that era. Fact 3. ABC shelved the second season, out of spite. The behind-the-scenes drama surrounding Bigfoot and Wildboy's second season reveals just how petty network politics could be in the late 1970s. After the show's first season aired as part of the Croft Super Show on ABC, Sid and Marty Croft made the decision to move their umbrella program to NBC for the following season. ABC was reportedly not happy about losing the Crofts to their competitor, and they found a way to express their displeasure. The network was still holding the rights to 12 new 30-minute standalone episodes of Bigfoot and Wildboy that had been produced for a proper second season. Instead of airing these episodes in the fall of 1978, when they would have received proper promotion and a good time slot, ABC sat on them for nearly a year. The episodes were eventually burned off during the summer of 1979, a television graveyard where shows were dumped with little fanfare or advertising. This meant the new episodes received minimal viewership and virtually no chance to find an audience. The move was widely seen as retaliation for the Crofts' defection to NBC, and it effectively killed any momentum the show might have had. For fans who had enjoyed the series during its first season, the new episodes appeared with almost no warning and disappeared just as quickly, making the second season feel like a footnote rather than a proper continuation. Fact 4. Joseph Butcher was 20. Playing a 15-year-old Hollywood has a long tradition of casting actors who are older than the teenage characters they portray, and Bigfoot and Wildboy was no exception to this rule. Joseph Butcher, who played the wild child raised by Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest wilderness, was born in 1956. This meant he was actually 20 to 21 years old during the filming of the series, despite playing a character who was supposed to be only 15 or 16 years old according to the show's storyline. The age gap was fairly significant, though Butcher's youthful appearance and lean physique helped sell the illusion that he was a teenage boy living in the woods. The casting decision made practical sense for several reasons. Child labor laws restricted how many hours actual teenagers could work, and the physically demanding nature of the role required someone with the stamina and coordination of an adult performer. Butcher had to run through forests, climb trees, perform stunts, and maintain the energy needed for action sequences throughout long shooting days. An actual 15-year-old would have struggled with both the legal restrictions and the physical requirements of the part. Still, the 5 or 6 year age difference between actor and character represents one of those open secrets of television production that viewers at the time probably never questioned, accepting Butcher as a teenager simply because the show presented him as one. Fact 5. 6 episodes remain lost to this day. Bigfoot and Wildboy has become an unusual case study in lost television media, with a significant portion of the second season remaining virtually inaccessible to modern viewers. When the series was eventually released on home video, only 6 of the 12 standalone 30-minute episodes from 1979 made it to VHS tape. The remaining 6 episodes were never given an official home video release, and surprisingly, they have never surfaced on YouTube, streaming platforms, or any other digital medium where lost television typically resurfaces in the internet age. This makes half of the show's second season essentially lost media, unavailable for fans who want to experience the complete series. The situation is particularly frustrating because these aren't episodes from the 1950s or 60s that might have been poorly archived or accidentally destroyed. These are episodes from the late 70s that were aired on a major network, yet somehow they slipped through the cracks of television preservation. The missing episodes represent a significant gap in the show's legacy, and without someone holding on to old VHS recordings from the original broadcasts or network archives making them available, these 6 episodes may remain lost indefinitely. For collectors and fans of cult television, Bigfoot and Wildboy's partially lost status makes it a particularly interesting case of how even relatively recent television can disappear from public access. Fact 6. The distress call was used 6 times per episode. Every Saturday morning television show from the 1970s had its signature catchphrase or sound effect, but Bigfoot and Wildboy took repetition to an impressive extreme. The hero's distinctive distress call, which sounded like "Bee-ya-ba," was used at least 6 times in every single episode without fail. This made it one of the most repetitive verbal elements in Saturday morning television history, appearing so frequently that viewers could practically set their watches by it. The call served as the primary method of communication between Bigfoot and Wildboy whenever they were separated or in danger, which apparently happened multiple times per episode with remarkable consistency. The writers seemed to structure each story around situations that would require the characters to use their signature call, ensuring that young viewers would hear it over and over again throughout the show's runtime. From a branding perspective, the repetition made sense as it created an instantly recognizable audio signature for the series, something kids could imitate on the playground the next week. However, the sheer frequency of the distress call also revealed how formulaic the storytelling had become, with each episode following similar beats that required the heroes to call out to each other again and again. For parents watching alongside their children, the constant repetition of "Bee-ya-ba" likely became an unintentional form of torture, drilling the sound into their memories long after the episode had ended. Fact 7. Both actors performed their own dangerous stunts. Despite operating on a notoriously tight Saturday morning television budget, Bigfoot and Wildboy required an impressive amount of physical action from its 2 lead performers. Ray Young, who played Bigfoot in the heavy costume and makeup, and Joseph Butcher, who portrayed the agile Wildboy, both performed all of their own stunts throughout the series without the use of stunt doubles. This meant the actors were personally responsible for all the running, jumping, climbing, and action sequences that filled each episode. The decision was partly due to budget constraints, since hiring professional stunt performers would have significantly increased production costs, but it also stemmed from the physical nature of the roles themselves. Both characters needed to move in specific ways that would be difficult for stunt doubles to replicate convincingly, especially given the distinctive way Bigfoot moved in his costume and the wild, untamed quality of Wildboy's movements. Ray Young had the additional challenge of performing all his stunts while wearing the full Bigfoot costume, which restricted his vision and movement considerably. Despite these limitations, he managed to make the character appear powerful and capable during action sequences. Joseph Butcher's stunts were equally demanding, requiring him to run barefoot through actual forests, leap over obstacles, and perform physically demanding sequences that would test any actor's endurance. The fact that both actors handled their own stunt work gives the show an authentic quality, even if the production values were clearly limited by the constraints of Saturday morning television budgets. Fact 8. Christopher Knight from the Brady Bunch guest-starred Bigfoot and Wildboy attracted several notable guest stars during its run, but few brought more instant name recognition than Christopher Knight, who was still famous for playing Peter Brady on the Brady Bunch. Knight appeared in a two-part episode titled White Wolf, bringing some genuine television star power to the Pacific Northwest wilderness setting. His appearance was particularly interesting because the Brady Bunch had ended just 3 years earlier, in 1974, meaning Knight was still very much associated with his iconic role as the middle Brady brother. Seeing Peter Brady interact with Bigfoot and a wild child raised in the forest created an amusing contrast between wholesome suburban family sitcom values and the wilderness adventure genre. For young viewers who had grown up watching the Brady Bunch, Knight's guest appearance was probably a significant draw, offering a chance to see a familiar face in a completely different type of show. The casting also reflected the relatively small world of television production in the 1970s, where actors who had recently finished one series would often appear in various other shows while looking for their next big role. Knight's appearance in the White Wolf episode gave the production a boost of credibility and familiarity, even if his role was limited to a two-part story arc. Fact 9. Future Twin Peaks star made his debut as the Titan. Long before Carell Struycken became known for playing the mysterious giant in Twin Peaks and Lurch in the Addams Family movies, he made one of his first credited television appearances on Bigfoot and Wildboy. Struycken, who stands 7 feet tall and built a career playing unusual characters, portrayed a creature called the Titan in one memorable episode. The character was a plutonium-mutated red monster, and the costume department made the questionable decision to top off the look with what can only be described as a clown wig. The combination of Struycken's imposing height, the red monster makeup, and the bizarre wig choice created one of the most visually unusual creatures in the show's entire run. For Struycken, who was just beginning his acting career at the time, the role was typical of the kind of parts he would be offered throughout his life due to his distinctive appearance and height. However, this early appearance shows that even in a low-budget Saturday morning show, his screen presence was already notable. The fact that he went on to become a cult favorite in Twin Peaks and a memorable part of the Addams Family films makes his appearance as the Titan an interesting footnote in his career, showing that even accomplished character actors sometimes have to start somewhere, even if that somewhere involves wearing a clown wig while playing a radioactive monster. Fact 10. Richard Moll played a caveman before Night Court fame. Richard Moll, who would later become a household name playing the lovable bailiff Bull Shannon on Night Court, appeared in Bigfoot and Wildboy years before his sitcom success. Moll guest starred as a character named Lorcan I, who was part of a prehistoric tribe that somehow awakened in the modern world. The episode played with the classic fish-out-of-water concept, but with cavemen instead of time travelers, and Moll's imposing 6'8" frame made him perfect casting for a primitive warrior. At the time of his appearance, Moll was still working his way up through guest roles on various television shows, taking whatever parts came his way. His role as Lorcan 1 was typical of the kind of character work he did in the late 1970s, often playing intimidating figures, monsters, or unusual characters before landing the role that would define his career. The contrast between the primitive caveman he played on Bigfoot and Wildboy and the gentle, dim-witted Bull Shannon he would later portray on Night Court shows the range Moll had as an actor, even if he was often typecast based on his size. For fans who later discovered his earlier work, seeing Moll in a fur costume playing a caveman on a Saturday morning adventure show provides an amusing glimpse at the kind of roles working actors had to take before landing their breakthrough parts. Fact 11. The VHS release strategy was bizarrely random. When Embassy Video decided to release Bigfoot and Wildboy on VHS tape for home video collectors, they made some truly baffling choices about which episodes to include. Instead of starting with the first season or presenting episodes in any kind of chronological order, Embassy Video released 2 VHS tapes that completely skipped the entire first season. The tapes instead featured episodes 11, 7, and 3 from the second season, and these episodes were edited together into a single 72-minute presentation that played more like a made-for-television movie than a collection of distinct episodes. This random selection meant that anyone purchasing the VHS release would miss all the context and character development from the first season, jumping straight into the middle of the second season with no explanation. The decision was particularly strange because the first season had aired as part of the Croft Super Show and would have been more familiar to viewers who remembered the series from its original broadcast. By choosing 3 random episodes from the second season and editing them together, Embassy Video created a product that served neither completists who wanted the full series nor casual fans who might want to revisit specific memorable episodes. The bizarre release strategy was typical of how home video companies treated older television properties in the early days of VHS, often making seemingly arbitrary decisions about what to release based on what materials they had readily available rather than what would actually serve fans of the show. Fact 12. James Bond's sister played a fake wild girl. Lana Wood brought some genuine Hollywood pedigree to Bigfoot and Wildboy when she guest starred in an episode featuring a character called Wild Girl. Wood was already known for being the younger sister of legendary actress Natalie Wood, and she had also played the Bond girl Plenty O'Toole in the James Bond film Diamonds Are Forever in 1971. Her appearance on a Saturday morning children's adventure show just a few years later demonstrates how unpredictable acting careers could be in the 1970s. In the episode, Wood's character wasn't actually a genuine wild child raised in the wilderness like the show's protagonist, but rather a spy using a wilderness disguise to trap the heroes. This plot twist allowed Wood to play both the innocent wild girl facade and the calculating villain underneath, giving her more to do than a straightforward guest role might have offered. The casting of someone with Wood's Hollywood connections and film experience elevated the episode beyond typical Saturday morning fare, even if the production values remained firmly in the low-budget television category. For viewers who recognized Wood from her more prestigious work, seeing her running around the forest in a makeshift wilderness costume must have been a surreal experience, highlighting how even actors with significant credentials sometimes took whatever roles were available to keep working steadily in the entertainment industry. Fact 13. The show's action footage was endlessly recycled. Budget constraints forced the production team behind Bigfoot and Wildboy to get creative with their action sequences, but the solution they chose became increasingly obvious to anyone who watched multiple episodes. To save time and money, the show repeatedly reused the same shots of Bigfoot leaping over obstacles and running through wooded areas throughout the entire series. This meant that viewers with sharp eyes could start recognizing the exact same jumps, the same camera angles, and the same forest locations appearing in episode after episode. The recycled footage was often integrated into new scenes through editing, hoping that young Saturday morning viewers wouldn't notice or care that they were seeing the same athletic feats over and over again. The practice was common in low-budget television, where every minute of new footage meant additional shooting time, location costs, and post-production work. By maintaining a library of action shots that could be dropped into any episode where Bigfoot needed to demonstrate his abilities, the production could save significant resources while still delivering the action sequences that the show's format required. However, for older viewers or anyone watching multiple episodes in close succession, the constant recycling became impossible to ignore. The same distinctive trees, the same lighting conditions, and the same exact movements appeared so frequently that the stock footage essentially became its own unintentional running gag for observant fans. Fact 14. Joseph Butcher met his girlfriend through an autograph. Behind the scenes, Joseph Butcher lived a life that was remarkably wholesome and down-to-earth, especially by 1970s television standards. The young actor who played Wildboy met the woman he began dating in the most simple way possible. She approached him and asked for his autograph. This chance encounter led to a relationship, showing that even minor television fame could create unexpected personal connections. Butcher was known among the cast and crew as a clean-living performer who didn't drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes, or use drugs, which set him apart from many people working in the entertainment industry during that era. His lifestyle choices reflected a discipline and focus that likely helped him maintain the physical fitness required for the demanding stunts and action sequences that filled every episode of Bigfoot and Wildboy. Beyond his work on the show, Butcher had two notable talents that showcased different sides of his personality. He was an amazing dancer with natural rhythm and movement abilities that probably contributed to his success in the physical role of Wildboy. He was also a chess enthusiast, demonstrating an intellectual side that contrasted with the primitive character he played on television. This combination of physical talent and mental acuity painted a picture of a well-rounded young performer who took his craft seriously while maintaining personal interests outside the entertainment world. Fact 15. Sorrell Booke stole plutonium before Dukes of Hazzard. Years before Sorrell Booke became famous as the corrupt and bumbling boss hog on the Dukes of Hazzard, he appeared on Bigfoot and Wildboy as a villain with nuclear ambitions. In an episode titled Outlaw Bigfoot, Booke played a criminal character attempting to steal plutonium, bringing his considerable acting experience to a Saturday morning adventure show that desperately needed credible villains. Booke was a classically trained actor who spoke multiple languages and had studied at Yale and Columbia, making him far more educated than most performers working in television at the time. His appearance on Bigfoot and Wildboy came during a period when he was taking various television roles before landing the part that would define his career. The plutonium-stealing villain was typical of the over-the-top bad guys that populated Saturday morning action shows, but Booke brought a level of professionalism to the role that elevated the material. Just a few years later, he would begin playing Boss Hogg in 1979, creating one of television's most memorable villains and becoming a household name. The fact that he went from trying to steal plutonium on a children's adventure show to becoming the corrupt commissioner of Hazzard County shows how working actors built their careers through a variety of roles before finding the character that would make them famous.